You're sure you haven't seen her? All right, thank you. Mrs. Harfield hasn't seen her either.
Too bad.
Anson, if you'd watched your sister like I told you, this wouldn't have happened.
I'm no babysitter.
Operator, I want the sheriff. Yes, I wonder if you could help me. You see, I can't find my little girl. Her name is Nancy, and I've been calling all over, but... I'm Mrs. Griswold. Yes. No, W-O-L-D. That's right. She's never done this before, and I don't know what to think.
How about kidnapping?
Kidnapped? No.
Code 3.
My name is Barrett, Assistant Sheriff, Los Angeles County. Tonight, I want to tell you about a case that comes pretty close to home for all of us. Perhaps you don't fully understand how serious it is when you may not know exactly where your little girl or boy is, particularly after dark. In this large area of Los Angeles County, we get over 1,000 calls a month reporting missing children. Think of that, 1,000 a month. Probably few of you have much idea of the system we follow when you give us such a call. Naturally, we leave no stone unturned to recover your child. But you may be surprised to see the amount of equipment and the number of men needed in these searches, which sometimes end in tragedy, too. That's why we picked tonight's case. Our station in San Dimas received the call from a home in Glendora. Deputy Roger Kelly was dispatched to investigate.
Well, it's 8:45. They should be here any minute. Fingerprinted, when and where? Was she ever fingerprinted?
Of course not. She's a little girl. Look, couldn't you do that later and start looking for her now?
Mrs. Griswold, every car in the area has been alerted to be on the lookout. The detectives are going to need this information when they get here.
I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, I understand.
You got a gun?
Yes, I have.
Is it loaded?
Yes, it is, son.
Did you ever shoot anybody with it?
Well, no law enforcement officer makes a practice of shooting people.
That ain't answering my question.
Sergeants?
Hello, Kelly.
Kelly? I have most of it made out. Miss Griswold hasn't signed it yet.
Uh-huh. Well, thanks. We'll take it from here.
Mrs. Griswold, these are detectives from the San Dimas station. This is Sergeant Ivy and Sergeant Coombs.
Hello.
How do you do?
A lady detective, what do you know?
Please sit down. Anson, move over and let the lady sit down.
No, don't bother.
Well, take the sergeant's coat.
Oh, this'll be all right. Thank you. Now, Mrs. Griswold, would you mind telling us just what happened, please?
Well, I got home at my usual time, about 5:30. You see, I have to work now.
Well, what about your husband?
We were divorced last year.
I see. Go on.
The children get home a little after 3. Nancy likes to go next door and play. You see, Mr. Hinckley put up a swing and some other things for all the children to use.
Did you ask this Mr. Hinckley about her?
Well, he isn't home. I've called 2 or 3 times. It's the White House right next door.
Kelly, would you check next door, see if he's back yet?
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Mrs. Griswold, Nancy is 10, is that right?
She'll be 11 next month. April the 21st.
Tell me, did you walk home from school with your sister?
Me walk home with her?
Mm-hmm.
She's a girl.
Well, then, did you see her come home?
Sure.
What time was that?
About 4:30.
Did she say anything to you?
Nah, she went up to her room. I told her it was her turn to clean up the kitchen.
It was not. It was your turn. I told you to leave your sister alone.
I didn't hurt her.
Well, you must have done something. Now, what was it?
I Told her she better do like I said, or
Anson, what did you tell her?
Nothing.
You tell these officers what you said, or you'll go to bed without any supper.
Please, Mrs. Griswold.
What did you say to her, Anson?
I told her she better do like I said, or I'd sick the cops on her.
Where'd you learn that, son?
I don't know, but it always works. I'm hungry.
You stay right here. We want to talk to you.
That's all right, Mrs. Griswold. We'll talk to him later.
I'm sure he didn't mean it, officer. You know how older brothers are.
I know. I have one, too. Just about his age. Now, Mrs. Griswold, we'll need a list of Nancy's friends, her teachers, any relatives who live in or around Los Angeles.
All right. Just let me fix something for Anson first.
Says here she only had 10 cents with her milk money.
Well, she couldn't have gotten far on that. This might help.
It's fairly recent. Cute.
Well, it's 9 o'clock. She's been gone 5 hours.
Well, if she was going to change her mind and come home, she would have done it by now. I think you better call Captain Winters.
Come in.
He's not home yet. I left a note on the door to contact you here.
Thanks, Kelly.
I'll check some of the other neighbors.
Right. Hello, Sergeant Coombs.
As soon as he had been given the details, Captain Winters called Inspector Reynolds of the Detective and Crime Prevention Division to tell him what equipment and personnel he needed to conduct a house-to-house search.
This is the Sheriff's Department. We are looking for a missing 10-year-old girl described as follows. 4 feet 5, 85 pounds, light brown hair. She needs to be wearing blue sweater and gray flannel skirt.
We're right here. Now we have deputies going from door to door in this entire area, which is about a half a mile across.
Do you think there's a chance, Captain Winters?
Sure. Sure, Mrs. Griswold, we'll find her. Excuse me. I want to get the weather forecast on the late news.
Mrs. Griswold, can you think of any reason at all that would make Nancy want to run away? Some little thing that you might have said to her?
Well, I'm strict with her, Sergeant. I don't let her have her own way, but isn't that the way you bring up children?
A house-to-house search is now going on in the area. Here is an on-the-spot report by film taken just 1 hour ago. This is Nancy Griswold. If you should see her, please get in touch with the sheriff's office or your local police department at once.
Please, Mrs. Griswold, you must try to get hold of yourself. I assure you we're going to do everything in our power to see that you get Nancy back. Don't worry. Helen, will you come out here, please? Mrs. Griswold should rest.
Temperature at City Hall at 11 p.m. was 42 degrees. Some snow has started to fall at Mount Wilson. The hunting season has gone into its 5th day.
Snow's falling on Mount Wilson.
That's only 6 or 7 miles from here.
Yeah.
Any luck?
Nothing. Not a trace, no leads.
Me too. Where do we go now?
Lorraine Avenue, 400 block.
Thank you.
Who was that?
Lady from El Monte wanting to know if we needed any help.
What have you got there?
Nancy's shoes, the one she wore to school today.
No, I don't get it.
You fathers never do. Mrs. Griswold insisted she wear these.
Yeah.
Well, she wanted to be like other little girls and wear flats.
What are flats?
Oh, you know, no straps, no heels, no laces, the latest style.
Some shoes.
Anson said she saved up enough last week to buy a cheap pair of flats. Mrs. Griswold found out about it, punished her, and told her she couldn't wear them.
Well, what did Mrs. Griswold do with the flats?
Well, she couldn't do anything. Nancy hid them. Anson was the one that told me where they were.
Well?
Well, they weren't there.
I just got home and I saw this note in the door. I came right over. Sergeant Ivy?
No, this is Sergeant Ivy. I'm Sergeant Coombs. We're from the sheriff's office.
You're Mr. Hinckley from next door?
Yes. Is there something wrong?
This is Captain Winters.
Oh, how do you do, sir? Can you tell us, when was the last time you saw Nancy Griswold?
Nancy? I don't understand. What's happened?
Did you see her this afternoon?
Yeah, I did. I was just leaving the house.
What time was that, Mr. Hinckley?
About 3:30, 3:45.
You left right after that?
Yes.
Where have you been all evening?
At my sister's in Long Beach, having dinner. Why are you asking me all these questions? I haven't done anything.
We didn't say you had, Mr. Hinckley. We're just trying to get information.
Nancy's disappeared. We're trying to find her.
Oh, no.
Did Nancy say anything to you about where she was going?
Well, yes, she said she was going to the store. Her mother wanted her to buy something for dinner.
Mrs. Griswold said she didn't have any money.
I know. I loaned her $3.
but your yard and any outbuilding. This is the Sheriff's Department.
We're going to need at least 20 more cars. Yes, sir. Oh, that's fine. We'll expect them within the hour. Thanks. Sure. Yes, sir. Goodbye. Now, we're getting 20 more. We can widen the area to a mile.
Don't forget she's got $3.
How far can you go on that?
Far enough on a bus.
Oh, here, sit down.
Thanks.
We've checked every bus station in the county, no Nancy. Who are you calling, Helen?
Home. Hi. Sleep? I'm sorry. Huh? Well, I don't know. That's what I'm calling about. Uh-huh. Honey, look, I don't know if I'm going to be home in time to fix anything for the kids. Would you make sure they have lunch money? Yeah. Oh, all right. Mm-hmm. You too. Hmm? Good night.
How old are your kids now?
Oh, Barbie's 7 and Larry's... Good grief, Larry's 10 already.
10?
Oh, we've always wanted a little girl.
Oh, they're cute.
Well, someday, maybe. I'll get it. Hello, Kelly.
Hi.
How's the weather outside?
It's cold. I'd say it's pretty close to freezing.
What have you got there?
It's a girl's shoe. Don't know if it means anything.
Well, let's see it.
That what you call a flat?
Yeah, that's what we call a flat. I'll show it to Mrs. Griswold.
Where did you find that?
About a half-mile north of here at the intersection of Sierra Madre Avenue and Glendora Mountain Road.
Wonder if it could be the kids.
Yeah, I don't know.
As soon as the single shoe had been found, Captain Winters alerted the mounted posse, a reserve unit of the Sheriff's Department. At dawn the next morning, they began a thorough search of the Little Dalton and the Big Dalton Wash. At the same time, the Mountain Patrol was ordered out to alert all hunters and to search the foothills of the Angeles National Forest, which was about a mile north of where Deputy Kelly found the girl's shoe. Operating from a Jeep, Captain Winters personally took charge of the searching parties.
Any hunters in the area, be on the lookout for a lost girl.
Wait a minute, Coombs. Where are we?
Right about here, about a mile below Big Dalton Dam.
Are there any cabins around here?
Not that I know of. There are a couple miles west of here. Used to be an old Boy Scout camp.
Do you think she could have gotten in this far?
I don't know. That's what we've got to find out. It's clear enough now to use a helicopter. Fort Charlie to dispatcher.
Fort Charlie.
Can you get hold of Captain Dillon in Santa Monica? Ask him to contact me.
10-4, Fort Charlie.
It's easy to miss her in this.
Say, Norm, have there been many hunters up around this area lately?
Quite a few. Not much to hunt around here except a couple of deer and coon. Of course, rattlesnakes.
Fort Charlie to 85S.
85S.
What's your position?
About a mile up the Little Dalton Canyon. Rough country.
That should be about here.
We'll start working our way up towards you.
10-4.
Let's turn around.
301 calling Fort Charlie.
Wait a minute, that must be Dillon. Fort Charlie.
I can hardly hear you.
Well, it's clear enough here to use the helicopter.
Sorry, it's ground zero here and the other airports.
Well, any chance of it breaking up?
Not before noon, anyway. Maybe not then.
That's over 3 hours.
Is there any other place we could get one? Every minute's important. This girl's been out in the open all night in freezing weather.
I know that, but I can't help you. Everything's grounded.
Let me know the minute it breaks, will you?
I'll call you.
All right, thank you, Captain.
10-4.
I don't get it. How come he can't take off and fly straight up through the fog?
No, the helicopter isn't equipped to fly on instruments, only by contact. Well, let's go.
This is a search party looking for Nancy Griswold.
Nancy, can you hear me? If you can hear me, Nancy, call out or make some signal.
Well, you see, Miss Gower, Nancy's mother was too upset to tell us very much about the child last night, and besides, the teacher often knows the child much better than the parent.
Well, how nice of you to say that. Well, now let me see what I can tell you about Nancy.
Well, was she a good student?
No, she isn't. I'm sorry to say. Of course, it's not all her fault. She fell and broke her ankle last fall, missed several weeks of school, and she never quite caught up.
I see. Well, does she have any close friends, playmates?
No, I'm afraid not. Ever since the accident, she stays by herself most of the time. Children can be so cruel sometimes.
How do you mean?
Well, she had to wear a steel brace, and it kept her from walking very much. And they gave her a nickname. They called her Crip. Of course, I did my best to stop it, but I know they still call her that behind my back, poor Nancy. Now, let me see if there's anything else I can tell you.
Is there anything wrong?
I'm sorry. But since you're a policewoman, I couldn't help wondering.
Yes?
Do you...
Oh.
Oh, thank you. I've always wanted to know.
You're quite welcome. Tell me, is that some of the work Nancy's class is doing?
Oh, yes. Yes, that's our hobby exhibit. And I was able to give Nancy a very good mark for hers. This is Nancy's. It's rock collection. Isn't that beautiful?
Yes. Yes, it is. Tell me, do you remember how Nancy broke her ankle?
Well, yes, her mother told me that she fell climbing the hills near her home when she was collecting these, as a matter of fact.
Would you mind if I took this along?
Why, no, certainly not.
Thank you. Do you think you can show me the place on this map?
Well, I'll try. I don't know the place very well.
Well, you were with her when she broke her ankle, weren't you?
Yes. If you could show me where this house is.
Well, we're right here now. Now, does that mean anything to you?
Yes, I think it's right about here. Yes, I remember this road.
If only last night you had told us that Nancy liked to go to this particular place to get rocks for a collection.
I don't know. I just didn't think about it, that's all.
I'd be willing to bet she's there or has been there.
There should be a patrol over there, about 200 yards.
Can you get any lower?
We're too low now. The air in these canyons is pretty bad.
There's the quarry that Sergeant Ivy was talking about, right dead ahead. She must be around here someplace. You can't walk very far in this country. "3018, all mobile units in the area. We're over the quarry. Stand by."
Hey, it's gonna be tough to spot that girl. Pretty thick undergrowth.
Yeah, I know. We've been fighting it all day. How much daylight have we got left?
Less than an hour.
Hey.
You see something?
Well, I thought I did.
Well, turn and we'll double back to the quarry.
She's in here. It's going to be rough getting her out.
I see her.
Where?
Right there, right straight ahead. Well, can you land there?
Not and stay in one piece.
Where are we in relation to the quarry?
About 300 or 400 yards northwest of the quarry. I can hover here for a few minutes and we can mark the spot. I'll take her up about 300 feet so they can see us.
Yeah. Aim. 3018, all mobile units. We found the girl. She's about 300 or 400 yards northwest of the quarry. Now we're hovering over the spot now.
They found her. The copter's marking the spot.
3018 to dispatcher.
Fort Charlie.
Inform St. Luke's Hospital that we'll land the patient in the street adjacent to the hospital.
10-4, Fort Charlie.
She's over here. Hello, Nancy. Oh, honey, we're here to help. Don't worry. Get that blanket down. Now, easy. We'll get you out, sweetie.
My ankle. It's bad again.
Don't you worry, honey. We're gonna have you home in a nice warm bed and a good dinner before you know it.
Please, don't take me home. Mother will punish me. I wore the shoes.
No, she won't, honey. She wants you home, I promise you.
There's a lot of swelling.
Yeah, we'll have to take it very easy.
Mister,
Hmm?
are you sure Mom's not mad at me?
Of course I'm sure, dear.
Do you think it would make her mad if I asked her something?
What's that?
If I can have a new pair of flats.
I think that can be arranged, honey. All right, boys, let's get her out of here. Careful now. Hungry. A doctor will tell us more.
Hi, Nancy. We're going to go for a helicopter ride. It'll be a lot of fun. You'll really have something to talk to the kids at school about now. You'll see your mother right away.
Nancy lied to me. You really are nice people.
All right, honey. Goodbye.
Fortunately for Mrs. Griswold, we were able to locate Nancy. But sometimes the results of our efforts have been very unhappy. We know you'll keep an extra eye out for those wonderful children of yours, and I'd like to make just one suggestion. In the great majority of missing children cases we handle, our investigation always turns up some neighbor who remembers having seen the child and wondered about it being alone after dark. In the future, if you should happen to see such a child, we'll very much appreciate a call from you telling us or your local police department where the child is. And we'll have our patrol car in the vicinity drop by to check. Through your kindness, we may be able to save some parents much grief by giving that child a ride back home. And now, may I introduce Eugene W. Biscaluz, Sheriff of Los Angeles County.
Friends, during the production of the Code 3 films, a deputy sheriff is present at all times to assure you of the authenticity in our stories. We hope you'll join us again next week for another true case from our files. Thank you very much.
Mother.